Vanakkam, Namaste, Namaskar. Let us continue on the third part of Earth's basics today. So let us see the next few topics which we can cover in this title. As usual, a quick recap of what we have done in part number 2. This is part number 3 actually. We saw what is a great circle. We saw what is a small circle. We saw what is equator in parallels of latitude, the meridian, then the prime meridian. These were the definitions we had actually seen on the last part, which was part 2. Now we are going on to part 3. So let us continue on the definitions, the basic definitions. We'll start with what is a longitude. I've shown you the picture of the Earth in the form of a sphere just for the depiction part of it so that you understand the concept. Otherwise, we know it is a spheroid. I've already shown you what is equator and the prime meridian. So these are the two zero references for the measurements either in north-south direction or your east-west. Okay. So let us look at what is the definition of longitude of a place. So I'm showing a spot here. Let us assume that this is a person standing here in this violet color spot which I've given you. Please remember, he will have his own meridian. Each place has got its own meridian. So I've just shown you his meridian. So what is the definition of a longitude? All longitude and latitudes are given in the form of two parts of a definition. It is either or. So the first one is an arc. So longitude, it is defined as an arc at the equator. So this is arc measured at the equator between the prime meridian and the meridian of that place. Please remember the first definition is it is the arc measured at the equator. You should measure it exactly at the equator. I've just shown it slightly below this arc just to depict that it is measured at the equator. Or it can be defined as angle at the pole. This angle is also measured between the prime meridian and the meridian of the place. So I'm just showing you as an angle. So this is what is the definition of a longitude. It is either arc of the equator or angle at the pole. It could be measured at South Pole also. The angle is still the same. So it is the angle at the pole or arc of the equator measured between the prime meridian and the meridian of that particular place. It is usually denoted by this format. You can see triple digit format for degrees and double digit format for minutes. It can go on decimal of minutes also, please. We'll look into that a little bit later. Right now, I'm not looking at that. So this is longitude, okay? So this definition is a fixed definition. I can show you one more place. Let us say this orange color spot, somebody is there. He has got his own meridian. So going by the two definitions, either it is arc at the equator or angle at the poles contained between the prime and this meridian. I'll show you one more. Again, it is measured as arc of the equator or angle at the poles. I told you angles can be measured both in north and south poles, so it will be the same. Let us go for the next definition, which is a latitude. Okay? Latitude also is defined as an arc or an angle, but there's a catch here. I have two categories of latitude. The first one is called geocentric latitude. The moment I say geocentric, you should remember it is based on the center of the earth. Okay, so let me give you a place. This is the parallel of latitude for that place. I need to measure that. So how can I measure? I can again measure it as an arc, but this time it is the arc of that meridian of that place. So it is the arc of the meridian of the place between what? Between the plane of the equator and the parallel of that latitude, or Please remember, it is an angle again. It is measured between the plane of the equator and the line joining your center of the earth to this particular place, and that is what is this theta. And again, it is denoted in a particular format. This time it is denoted as double digit for degrees and then double digit for minutes, and minutes can have decimals also. So again, here also it is an arc or an angle, but this time arc is on the meridian of that place, and angle is between the plane of equator to the line joining center of the earth to that particular spot. Okay, that spot means it is joining the parallel of latitude also. As I said, I got two definitions of latitudes. One is geocentric. That means the angle what I'm measuring at is at the center of the earth. But then I have a second definition also. And before I go, I'm just showing you one more definition. Let us say one more spot is there. It is the arc of the meridian. Why? Because I put the spot itself on the black color circle as a sphere, and that itself is the meridian for that particular point. Or it is the angle between the plane of equator to the line joining that point. So these are the two examples of latitude or geocentric latitude. Please remember that. Let me go to the second definition, which is called your geographic latitude. Before I go to geographic latitude, I need to make you understand a little bit about something called vertical. This word vertical is used in your principle of navigation or concept of the celestial sphere and the earth. So let me just quickly show you how it is done. I'm taking a sphere, for example, and any place you stand, please remember, any place you stand, for you, the floor is horizontal. Why? Because you're looking at a small piece of land. Actually, we have a curvature on the earth, but if you take a small piece of land, it will look, it is a plain horizontal surface. So if I'm standing right now, wherever I'm standing, you are standing, for you, your house looks horizontal. Then I can draw a vertical. Vertical means 90 degrees to this horizontal. That means 90 degrees to this horizontal. You will see this line will always go and join the center. And this can happen only for a sphere. That means a perfect sphere. So I'm giving you three places. You can see the floor where the man is standing, and all the three places are horizontal. So if I draw a perpendicular, that is a vertical, you will see it will go and join the center of the earth, center of the earth, center of the earth. But actually, earth is not a sphere, it is a spheroid. So I'm going to show you the same concept when the same three persons are standing at different places. I'm showing you the axis, or you can call it meridian also, and the equator. Okay. I'm showing you three different places again. And I'm going to draw verticals for these three places. You will see that vertical will not go and join the center of the earth. So the place where the arrow comes and meets the plane of equator is called actually the center of curvature of that particular place. So you can see the center of curvatures are different. The verticals are different. They're not meeting at the same point. So please remember, on a spheroid shape, verticals do not intersect at the Earth's center. This gives rise to a second definition of latitude called geographic latitude. It's something which many of the beginners fail to understand. So please try to look at that. If you cannot follow it, please look at once more. I've shown you the same concept. That means I'm on a spheroid. And I've just told you that at different places on the real Earth, the point of intersection, which is called the center of curvature, is not the same. We already saw that. So how do you define? I can go and define again this latitude in terms of arc. So if you see arc of a meridian, this is same, exactly the same. If you go on geocentric latitude also, this arc is actually the same. But what happens to the angle? So in geographical latitude, the angle is measured between the plane of equator and that particular line, which is your vertical, where it meets this as a center of curvature. This angle is what is called a geographic latitude. Please try to visualize the difference. You can go back to the previous page. I'm going to compare this on the next slide, both in the same picture. So it will be easy because I'm going to compare what is geographic and what is geocentric. Okay. So when I define in terms of arc, it is common. There's no difference in that. But when I compare in terms of angle, please see this. Theta is geocentric latitude. That means I'm joining the point of that place with the center. It's called theta. But if I'm joining as a vertical, please remember it is as alpha, and Zulu is your center of curvature. And please remember both of them are different. In navigation, we will use alpha, which is your geographical latitude. Okay. So this difference, please remember, if I put a man exactly at the equator and exactly at the poles, there is no difference between theta and alpha, they are same. But when you go at around 45 degrees north or south, there's a difference which is around 11.6 minutes. So this is only for your general knowledge. You're not going to do anything practically in terms of your usage in chart or your navigation, but just remember, okay? So we saw two definitions, geocentric and geographic. Geographic is more important for us. Let us go to the next definition, which is called DLAT, or called difference of latitude. That is what is short form called DLAT, okay? Difference of latitude. Please remember, we always sail from one place to another. So I will have a point A, and then I will have a point B. So I've just shown you point A and point B. It's basically the difference of latitude between this point A and point B. Let us say I started from A to B. So I'm drawing the two parallel of latitudes. All I need to do is find the difference, but it is also defined. So let us look at definition of that. Again, it is the arc of the meridian. They both are on that black sphere, which is their meridian. So it is this. This is your arc of meridian. But when you look at the angle, again, it will be defined as an angle. I can join these 2 points with the center, and this angle is called also as the DLAT. Okay, this is the meaning of DLAT. But there's a catch here. DLAT, please remember, is a vector. When I say vector, it will have a magnitude and it will have a direction. Now you can see I just put a small arrow. That means this particular DLAT is traveling from A to B in the northerly direction. That is why I put an arrow which shows you northerly direction. Okay, this is what is DLAT. Let us go for DLong, which is again called a difference of longitudes. So that means when I travel from A to B, I can have two places which will have their own meridians, A and B. Obviously, there is a difference of longitude between them. All I have to do is measure. So how do I measure? This time, in terms of arc, please remember longitudes are measured only at the equator as an arc. So that means it is the shorter arc of the equator. Why do I call it shorter arc? Because A and B can be traveled in the other direction also. Please remember, I can circumvent the globe. That means I can go straight from A to B, or I can take the full circle around the earth also and come back to B. So that is why I should call it shorter arc, and this is the shorter arc. Okay. So it can be given as terms of angle also, but that angle is also shorter angle at the poles. And you will see I would have given a direction. Why? Because this is also a vector. Vector means I got a magnitude and I got a direction. So you please look at this arrows in both the arc and the angle. I have mentioned arrows. So this is important. Why? Because whenever you give DLAT and DLong, there is a magnitude as well as a direction. So you will see the importance of this when we do the practical part of it. That's the end of today's video. The next one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to practically solve small problems in DLAT and DLong, which is important. Why? Because you'll be extensively using this DLAT and DLong. So that is what I'm going to do the next episode of this. So please keep watching Jal Prayag. Until then, Vanakkam, Namaste, Namaskar.